Welcome to another episode of
The Epic Family Road Trip. In this episode, we explore beautiful Vancouver Island.
Getting ready to board the ferry from mainland out to Victoria, BC on the Vancouver Island. First stop is the beautiful city of Victoria, surrounded in amazing views and beaches, and we got to meet with a friend of ours, Al Smith. Now, we met Al for the first time in Oregon, of all places. We were eating at a restaurant there, and Al had seen some of our videos. He's the guy that has invented what he calls the Jeep kitchen, and I think he's going to rename it to the Overland Kitchen. It's an overlanding kitchen that was designed to fit into the back of a vehicle. Initially as Jeep, but now it's designed to fit into pretty much any vehicle, and it makes really good use of space. If you've ever done vehicle camping, you know that space is of the utmost importance. So check out some of these videos of our really delicious dinner with Al Smith and some other friends right on one of the beaches of Victoria, BC.
Hey, my name's Al Smith with Overland Kitchen, and this is my Overland Kitchen. I invented it because I travel a ton and hate setting stuff up, so I wanted to make it super easy to set up and cook wherever I am, so I didn't have to spend tons of time in the kitchen. I could go out and play. Okay, let's take a look at it. So basically, you've got two sides to it. It's all 100% stainless steel, two sides to it, a fridge cabinet side and a stove drawer cabinet side. So the fridge cabinet is just all lock-in drawers. You can pull it open, access your fridge stuff. Yeah. And then this is the best part. It's got a stainless prep surface that pulls out, and a stove that pulls out of that. And then you can lock the drawers out, because if you're cutting with knives, you don't want to get cut. And there you go. And then you've got two big stainless drawers of storage. And you can store tons of stuff on top of it, and you don't have to get rid of anything in order to open up and cook, which is what I love. So if you want to check it out, you can see it at overlandkitchen.com. You can follow me at alsmith.com, and you can find all the links and information you need at those two places.
Next, we started the epic but windy drive through the mountains from Victoria, B.C. to Tofino.
Now crossing the Vancouver Island from Nanaimo into eventually to the west coast, which is Tofino and Ucluelet. So, but we just passed through some giant cedars, an old grove of original growth cedars, which is pretty cool. You can see the big redwoods and things like that, but when you see cedar trees, that the red, what do they call it? The western red cedar, it's pretty impressive.
Stay right here. Stay until it disappears. One way, gonna lay down. Be still.
Something we've learned along our travels is to always stop at the local information center. They always give us the best tips and places to go, places to eat. It just makes it really fun to learn all the insights of the locals.
You can research online, but getting local information from people that live there is always the best. Hey, we're here with Jody Kirk from Tourism Tofino. Now, if you've ever thought of coming up here, this is on the west coast of Vancouver Island. It's extremely beautiful, and there's all kinds of things to do. Why don't you tell people what they can do if they get to Tofino?
Most people only have a few days and they get a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of things that you can do here. One of my favorite things to do is Hot Springs Cove, where you take a boat. It's an hour-and-a-half ride out to Hot Springs Cove. If there's whales along the way, you'll see whales and a lot of wildlife. And then it's a 30-minute walk through the rainforest to natural hot springs in a beautiful setting right on the ocean. And then you walk back, and then you come in through the inside, and it's just beautiful views and a really lovely ride back.
I think that's something we're going to try to get out and do. Seeing the area from the shore looking out is incredibly beautiful, but it must be a whole different perspective being on a boat looking back there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Sometimes it can be really rough, sometimes it can be calm, sometimes you see like tons of sea otters, wildlife, eagles soaring. Yeah, it's really gorgeous, and it's so different and a different feeling from when you're in town or on land.
I heard the surfing's pretty good here too.
Yeah, surfing's definitely a draw. We just had the Rip Curl Pro and the Canadian Nationals here.
Well, we missed it by a day, but oh well. We're hoping to get our boards in the water too. In terms of there's whale watching, there's bear watching.
Yeah, whale watching is really great. The bears are out. A lot of cubs are out right now, so the mama bears are on tour with the cubs, and that's quite sweet.
Nice. And then all kinds of incredible restaurants and places to eat.
Yeah,
throughout the
Tofino's
day.
really well known for their restaurants. Several of the restaurants have won Best Restaurant in Canada.
Wow.
Really great, a couple good food trucks. Yeah, just really good food. You can't go wrong no matter where you eat.
Well, it sounds like our kind of place. Surfing, food, restaurants, the whole
Hiking.
deal. Hiking, incredible hiking.
Kayaking.
Wow. I mean, there's no end to it. You got to come to Tofino, but in the meantime, come with us and we will show you around town.
After a spectacular drive, we arrived in Tofino and set up camp at a beautiful place called Crystal Cove.
We're up through night and day. Come on, let me hear you say, let's go undercover. I wanna be your lover. I don't want the games they play. It's not us, so we better stay. Is it real? Could this be a new beginning? My whole world falls apart with just the thought of you. But there's a fire in my soul that keeps me spinning. And screaming, now is the time to
Love it here. Tofino, BC. We just got in on the coast and the tide was out, so I came out to this little island thingy here. I think the tide's coming in now, but it's pretty cool out here.
We go undercover, I will be your lover. We're up through night and day. Come on, let me hear you say, let's go undercover. I wanna be your lover. I don't want the games they play.
One thing that Tofino is famous for are all the unique coffee shops and restaurants. Some of these are absolutely award-winning and some of the best in Canada. Right across from Crystal Cove, actually just a short drive down the road, is a little complex, and one of the favorite places there for us to visit every morning was a coffee shop called the Tofino.
You ain't helping me at all. The memories they all twist and turn. I bang my head.
What's that?
Can I get a pork?
Pork finger? Sure, man.
And somehow I just never learn.
Beside the Tofino, there's a surf shop where we rented boards to try out the waves at Cox Bay.
Where we used to play hide and seek.
What are you renting? Some big boards for small waves?
Yeah, the guy recommended 9-foot soft top boards, so that's what we got. Smaller waves today, so we'll see.
Down the coast from Tofino is another small fishing town called Ucluelet. Now, one of the locals told me that Ucluelet means safe harbor, and you can see that the harbor is protected from the direct ocean. In fact, that whole area of Vancouver Island is as far west as you can get. It's just open ocean from there all the way to Japan. But we stopped in Ucluelet to get some local seafood, and we found a beautiful little restaurant that was actually floating on the harbor. Since we started our journey, we've been tasting local seafood, in fact clam chowder, everywhere we went, especially when we're along the coast. Everything from Halifax and the East Coast, New England, and pretty much every place we've gone around the world we've tested the clam chowder, and so of course we did that here, and I'd have to say this was up in the top 5 for sure. For sure, top 5. Delicious clam chowder. In fact, it's an award-winning bowl of chowder, so if you ever get down to Ucluelet, make sure you stop in at this floating restaurant. Talking about local information, somebody told us about a fish hatchery which is down near Ucluelet, and so we headed over there. It's a long drive in, and we didn't know what to expect, but we kept driving in there, and eventually we came to this little building and a big bunch of fish tanks. And there was a guy working out there who welcomed us in and was just so full of information. I mean, you talk about education while on the road. This was a homeschool, world school opportunity, like a field trip you would take at school. This guy knew everything about the salmon hatcheries, about all of the rivers in BC or in that area of BC. In fact, he's a marine biologist who actually climbs to the head of the rivers in the fall and then swims down counting fish for the government so that they can keep a good eye on the population and the health of the salmon in that part of the world. So he had literally, I think, 1 million small fry salmon ready to go into the streams at the right time, and he spent a lot of time teaching us all about the ecology and the ecosystem in which these fish live. It was very educational, eh, guys?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And he talked about the bears too, and I think that's what made us decide to go and look at the bears after.
Yeah, typically in the fall, you can go to this area if you go in the fall, and you can actually see bears fishing the salmon right out of the streams. This time of year there's no fish in the water, they've all swum out to sea. But yeah, if you're ever in Ucluelet, make sure you go to the Thornton Fish Hatchery.
So these are alcohol and chunk, and these are shrimp. These are the ones that get the biggest that people like to catch. Yeah. These guys are actually, I was just able to cut when they get ready to go to sea, they start racing around and they're getting excited. Just the last couple days, the water temperatures start to warm up, and temperature's a big trigger, and it's getting ready to time of year, photo period. So we're gonna let them go probably end of May, early June. But they'll start to go silver because in the ocean, everything's like silver, white on the belly, dark on the back, right? So more camouflage. Exactly, camouflage. When you're looking down, if you're an eagle, you got a darker greeny blue back, blends in with the greeny blue ocean. When you look up, you know, and you're a shark, white belly, white sky, bit of camouflage, right? So you can see the colors and those sort of purpley black bar marks are called. And they're going to lose that, like some of them, look at this guy, starting to get a silvery sheen to them. So these guys, we're probably going to take off real quick. Before November 1st, see how big they are? And then these guys are October, they're 2 weeks earlier, October 17th. Oh, wow. So just a few weeks advantage, they're bigger. And that's because when they were born, the water was 10 degrees, and warmer water accelerates the embryonic development. The water was 5 degrees when they were first. So these guys being, you know, they got a jump start. That's so just 2 weeks, not even. It was just under 2 weeks.
Now, when you're in Tofino, there's all kinds of different tours you can take, which really get you out into Ucluelet Sound and amongst the wildlife. So there's whale watching tours, and that can be done by boat or kayak. There's a bear tour, which is the one we ended up taking. There's also one that takes you up into some hot springs. You can do it by boat, kayak, like I said, or airplane. We didn't have time to do them all, of course, so we chose the bear tour because we thought that would be very educational, very interesting. Now, this time of year, the bears come out from the forest when the tide is low, and they go to eat crabs which they find underneath the rocks.
This should be exciting.
My board and go fortune channel.
We're just pulling up to another black bear on the shore, and these guys are rolling over rocks and finding little crabs underneath. One called a porcelain crab, which is really small, but they from time to time find a red crab or a Dungeness, which is a full meal. So when we get up close, you can hear them crunching and munching. It sounds like me with a bag of chips.
You got it.
This is the little porcelain crab, what they're feeding on. Yeah, so those are real tiny little guys. So every day, this is what they come, they'll sniff on the beach, flip all those rocks. Capable of swimming the very same day they are born. And they born with whiskers on their face. So those whiskers give them the feeling of vibration in the water. So they use it to hunt for salmon, herring, and a bunch of small fried fish.
I've been searching the whole ocean, wondering if the skies would clear, treading softly in slow motion, but I think the time is near, but I think the time is near to wait in the water. If we fade, why?
Thank you. See you.
The worst case, we will sink to the
enjoyed this week's video as we explored Vancouver Island. Join us next week as we cross back to the mainland and begin to travel through mainland British Columbia. Thank you to all of our subscribers. We really appreciate having you on board. Make sure you share our channel with as many people as you can. We always appreciate hearing from you, so leave a comment, ask a question. We'd love to try and answer it for you. And in the meantime, we'll see you down the road.